Hey community, this is Dr. Hugh coming at you, and today what I'm going to go over is we've been brewing our homemade kombucha now for about 7 or 8 weeks, and I have a really good system down. And if you're looking to do some fermented foods, get good probiotics, this is a must. It's very, very cheap to do once you understand how to do it. So this right here, I'm going to start off with the finished product, which is this is our actual kombucha in here. Okay, so this is our actual kombucha right here. Are these in good view? Okay, so this is actually kombucha right here, and in here you can see this right here. That is actually the SCOBY. Now what you want to do is when it comes to getting the SCOBY is you can actually buy these on Amazon. I bought ours on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace for $10. And then basically from there, they just continue to grow and grow and grow. So at one time we started off with one, and then here you can see how they're starting to develop layers. This is about 3 here, and this is about 3 here. So you can give them to a loved one, you can give them to a friend, you can give them to a neighbor, you can give them to your mom and dad, you can give them to whoever you want, or you can start a small business and sell them on Marketplace. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so anyway, so this is the final product. So what I want you to do is just walk you through the process on what you're going to need. So it's really simple. So you're going to need to get this sugar right here, and all the links are going to be on Amazon. I'll put everything on Amazon, and so everything is going to be on Amazon. Now, if you go to my website and you just type in the search bar kombucha, this will be pulled up, and then you can see exactly what I bought, and then the links will go to Amazon. Because if it's on some other platform, I don't know, like Instagram or Facebook, it's hard to put all those links there. So you have that information. So you're going to want to get this right here, the sugar. Now, what happens is these SCOBYs in here, they ferment the sugar, and then they make this in the probiotics. So you can see, just I'm going to hold this up right in here. So I mean, this looks very clear, and it's a clear kombucha, right? Okay, so you're going to want to buy this. Then I like these bags right in here. So you want to get organic black tea. And when you get your kombucha, or when you get your SCOBY, so these things in here are called SCOBYs. So you're going to get your SCOBYs, and then you're going to get your starter tea.
Can you please explain what a SCOBY is?
Yeah, okay. So the SCOBY here is, this is basically on top, and this is basically a bunch of good bacteria that take the sugar, because we're gonna put sugar in water, and they convert the sugar into like good healthy bacteria. This is the same thing as like fermenting wine or any kind of fermenting process. Now there's a couple of things I suggest that you get. Is this is going to be right here. This is a tea bag. Or I'm not sure, not a tea bag, it's a thing that you put the tea bags in, and I'll show you why you're going to want to do that. You want to have that. You're going to want to have just one of these little funnels right here. And then this is really critical. This process here, especially if you're in colder climates. So this is basically going to keep your brew, right, it's called the brew, at about 80 degrees. The most ideal fermentation is around 80 degrees. And then you can see here this has a little temperature strip on it. So I only have one of these heaters. So what I do is basically every 7 days we're going through 2 gallons. This is 2 gallons right here. So for the first 3 or 4 days, I'll have the heater on one brew. Then I'll take this off, and then I'll put it on the second brew and let that brew for another 3 or 4 days. So if you're in a colder climate, you know, it's just the fermentation, the heat is what causes really the sugar to ferment, and then the SCOBY to start to do its magic. So in my opinion, it's really critical to have this. And just to give you an idea here, it's in Minnesota, it's in the winter. Like this here, if I have the heater on it, this will be 80 degrees, and if I don't, this will be sitting at about 65 degrees right there.
Or in actuality, more like 58.
58. We love it cold here.
56.
All right, so what I'm going to do right now is, because we have the brew here, I'm going to pour it into these containers, and I'll have the link to these. I like these glasses right here. They're 16 ounces, so that's what I'm going to do next.
Not your face.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, because we've already made the brew, right, so I'm going to take the SCOBYs out. I'm just going to put them in here, and then you have to preserve some of your starter tea. Right, so we're going to put some of the starter tea in here. So when we create a new batch, this is where the bacteria sit. So this is going to help start the whole process. And I'll take these out, and then you can we'll do a close-up, and you can see how these actually are here. So you can just see these are the layers, and you can start another batch. Here's 3 right here, right? So they're pretty thick, gelatin-like creatures, right? They're living. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, grab this one. And then again, they're just layers right here. So we have, you don't need this many, and you can throw these away, whatever, right? So that's the SCOBYs in here. So now what I'm going to do here is, because we want some starter tea, I'm just going to pour this in here. So this is going to be the starter tea. I'm going to add a little bit more. This is going to be our starter tea for the next 2 batches. So if you wanted to, you could, strain this out right here if you wanted to, and get all the little small little, these are just like little remnants of the SCOBY right in here, right? So you could strain that out. It's not a big deal to me, so I'm not going to strain that out. So this is where the funnel comes in.
Are the little SCOBY particles just enhance bacteria?
Yeah, you can. They're just good for gut flora and stuff like that. So this is just basically simple from here. And once you do this enough, like this is probably what our 6th batch now, so I kind of have, it's down to an art, so I know exactly what to do. And you're gonna, when it comes to the taste, like the longer that you ferment it, because initially there's a bunch of sugar in there. So if you can really kind of vary the taste. If you want a little more sugar, you might want to stop on maybe like day 5 instead of day 7. Okay, then we'll just put the remainder in here. Oh, shit. So I'm just going to gently rinse this. So there's a key to this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make the tea next. So you got to boil the tea. So the secret to this here is we're going to be using 2 of these. So we're going to boil this, and to take the time out of it, I'm only going to boil 1 gallon. And then the remainder, I'm going to be putting a bunch of ice cubes in it so that we can decrease the temperature very quickly. This right here, if you're wondering about this is our 𝗏𝗪𝗏 water system. It filters all our home water, and it also filters fluoride out of it. So this is a really good, affordable home system. So now the next thing is you want to make the tea. So I like to grab 7 or 8 of these tea bags. Then I'm just going to put all the tea bags right in here. All right, so now the next step is we're just going to boil this. I just put this in right away, it really doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to let that boil. And then meantime, I'm just going to put the lids on all of these kombucha. Now, one of the things that you can do is sometimes it's kind of strong if you just drink it straight like this. So what we like to do is we'll just dilute it with like some water. So 50-50 like dilution. That seems to be okay. So you'll just have to kind of get your like tolerance on it, on how strong you want it. But I don't like it very strong, so I like to dilute it. Sometimes I'll dilute it in like 64 ounces of water, one of these containers, and then I'll put my magnesium in it. And sip that, so that kind of flavors it up a little bit. That's it. Okay, so here we are, we're just kind of boiling the tea, pretty straightforward. And this will get really nice and deep and black.
Delicious.
Okay, so we got the tea here boiling. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to add the sugar. So to be honest with you, I mean, I don't think there's really an exact science to the sugar. So you're not going to like put too much sugar in there. It's going to just ferment. So I'm going to put, because we're going to make 2 gallons here, I'm going to put 1.5 cups. And you might think that sounds like a lot, but it ferments, right? So it's not actually, this is 1/4 of a cup. So it's not, so it's not like you're drinking a Coke or a Pepsi or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to stop at that. So I put 1 1/4 cups in. And then we're just going to stir this up. Okay, so that's basically your tea, right? So it has the black tea, and then it has the sugar in it. Now the next thing is we're going to cool it, and then we're going to put the starter tea in it from the original recipe. Tim, can you help with this now? Okay, so now this is critical. So we have the tea right here, and this is going to be for both of our gallons here. Now we need to get this cool to 100, or excuse me, we need to get this cool to 80 degrees. So this is why I have the ice here. So we're just going to put a bunch of ice in there. And then we need this for both batches, plus room for the SCOBYs, plus room for the starter tea. So this is where you need to get your thermostat. So we're sitting at 100. So you want this to be at 80. Once you get this all down, you can do this like in less than 30 minutes for sure. So you can see we're at about 80 degrees right there. So I'm just going to dissolve a little bit. I'm just going to make sure the ice cubes are dissolved. One thing that you don't want to try and do is shock the SCOBYs when you put it in there if the temperature is too different. So you really want to try and get it around 80 degrees. So let's see what we're at. Okay, so we're 75. That's fine. And this here, I actually think that there's a little bit too much in there. So I'm just going to put it into the other gallon. Now remember, this is the starter tea. So this is the one that's cooled off. So we're going to put some of the SCOBYs in there. And then we're going to put some of the starter tea in there. So this batch is pretty much done right here. The ferment, and then you want to put the cheesecloth bag on there because this is going to, it produces gases, right? So it produces gases, so then you don't want anything dropping in there. Then you go get some more ice. Okay, let's dump the ice. Remaining of the I'm gonna have to dump some of that out. See where we're at. Okay, so we're still at 108. Let's get some more ice.
Maybe two.
Well, that's because the thermostat's out of the...
Oh.
Okay, so now we're going to put the starter tea in there. And this is very, very, very critical to make sure that you put the starter tea in there from the original batch. And then you just dump the SCOBYs in there, and it's pretty much that simple. Check the temperature. Perfect. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you where we put them. Let me walk behind you, or walk. Oh. So I'm going to put the heater on. Yes. Okay, so this is pretty much it. We keep this on high here, and then we put the second one right up in here, and then so today is Sunday, so I'll switch this either like Thursday. I'll switch the brews, so then this one that's just brewing at normal temperature comes down here. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up, like my station, and like, comment, and share this with a loved one. I'm going to do one last thing.